Welcome back, 5 Aces.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. A new challenger is approaching. We are seeing the addition of a third player. Alright. Yeah, that's right. We've seen the Kato versus Noodle Super League for 2 seasons, but now season 3 we've got a new antagonist in the orbit of Tiberian Dawn. You recognize the color scheme? Maybe you don't, because the power plant actually makes the decals look a bit strange, but the name on the top left is giving it away. It is Orb, now in HD. That's right. My man, who has scored some competitive trophies in the meantime. Orb? You have not claimed it. Wait, maybe they just don't show in Tiberian Dawn. He does have trophies. He does have plenty of trophies. Yeah. Notably RAGL Vice Champion, as far as I remember. And also, didn't he win or score second in the tag team tournaments? Anyway. Be that as it may, we're seeing some scuffles already. It's looking like Angie. I always want to say Angie if I see that color scheme. But Kato, not trading too well for now. Those 4 rifles. Being punished for his rifle positioning. He was waiting on his engineer, and thus Orb is allowed to advance. Oh, what a nice ambush setup though. Wait, Orb went for a double engineer super late. Where's that one going? That is such a greedy capture. No way he's getting away with that. Kato. Kato actually stealing away the oil derrick from underneath Orb's nose. Oh! And is he getting the kill on the engineer? Doesn't look like it. But it was so close. Never mind. Here comes another one from the backlines. Oh my. Orb is in a world of trouble now. Combat tab. Oh, there's a vision value now. Cool. That means basically you now have coverage of 11% of the map. That's a super useful stat. Very nifty for casters. Orb has set up his own scouts, but they're not finding any. Not a single engineer going down, courtesy of the total capture. In case you're wondering, unlike in the remasters, you can't just send in one engineer and capture back the oil derrick. In OpenRA it works differently. If you capture neutral structures, you only need 1 engineer. However, if you capture enemy structures, you need 2 engineers, and they need to enter the building at the exact same time. So this is not a good value proposition. So for now, Kato is allowed to enjoy the boons of capitalism, earn the hard fruits of his labor, the fields of oil being toiled away at. Orb a little oblivious here. Oh, nice kill. Humvee from the back, so really big advantage for Kato, I feel. His GDI definitely proving a lot more early game savvy. The move out has been scouted as well, so while this doesn't kill the MCV, it's certainly gonna be annoying, and it's gonna maybe... no, not able to stop the deploy. It's much harder in TD, because in a red alert, your base has a really large footprint. However, in TD, I think it's only 3x3? Unlike the 4x3, that is the case in RA. Plus the vehicles have a different movement pattern, so it's more difficult to lock down an MCV with just 1 vehicle. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you've seen competitive Warcraft, if you've heard about boxing units in, that is an insane skill. It's basically the same concept that applies to OpenRA, only on a grander scale. You surround enemy units. And it is a super micro-intensive trick to do, but it's the only way of, outside of crowd control spells, of reliably catching enemy units, because everything is relatively tanky in Warcraft 3. In TD, that only applies to the MCV, really. 17% vision now. Just a couple of refineries being added. Okay, good hit and run. Nice, even stopping for some little drive-by action. Getting the clean sweep on all the minigunners. This one as well, thank you. No, oh, there is tech from Orb. I don't know if that's enough to come back here. His economy is okay. He's okay. He's fine. They should be even courtesy of that oil derrick. 2 derricks for Kato equal 1 harvester for Orb. That's just about fine. Orb, unlike most of the other TD players, likes mixing in infantry, so he loves his combined arms tactics. That is a load up. Oh, we're gonna see an ambush. This is smart. He's going for the war factory. That is gonna be a drop. Yeah. Yeah, stop and drop. Oh, Orb. Ooh, there is a lot of firepower headed your way. Most of the rockets have died though. The firepower is somewhat diminished. Not all of them. He's chasing the tanks. I feel like that's a little bit of a mistake. Could instead have tried to take out the airstrip. Rocket soldiers are never gonna catch those tanks. I feel like that's a mismicro or a misjudgment from Kato, who was maybe fearing the guard tower. And Orb knows exactly what's going on, cutting off the reinforcements, killing the rockets immediately on retreat. Orb has rushed his tech now, and he's going for at least 1 Apache longbow. What else does he have in store for us? He's someone who likes building service depots, so maybe that's it. Yeah, repair facility. Really good. He had some low health tanks, and that is... I think the repair facility only costs us 600 in Tiberian Dawn. So that's a relatively low investment to keep your tanks topped up. Obviously you invest your time, but that's fine. Yeah, Kato's trying again, round 2. Is it this time gonna be a flamer burst? I would like to see that. He's playing so defensively. Look at that line of defense. Expanding to the back lines, probably just to build 1 single refinery. He is mostly tapped out, most of his expansions. And Orb is now out with a very scary army. Maybe Kato has missed his window a little bit. Orb is expanding to his 3rd and he's expanding forward. Plus he's already got the southern perimeter claimed. He's got good vision score. Or check that. Basic. No wait, that's not it. It's in economy. No? Combat, there we go. 27% vision score. That is pretty good. The loadout has happened, but I feel like that was a... Oh! The crashes are stellar! Never mind. Never mind, it's starting to still look like it's going Orb's way. Yeah. Ultimately, what broke his neck there was the APC husks blocking the... and just dying on the same cell as the rocket soldiers, and thus he was not able to crush the enemy soldiers anymore. I think that could have gone Kato's way, but ultimately just a bit of unlucky RNG plus the positioning. Okay, so that's a 1-0 for Orb. And Orb has been playing it really well from behind, after losing the early game in a spectacular fashion. Just holding on. And he is doing something that no Tiberian Dawn player, or Tiberian Dawn players hardly ever do. Building mass infantry. Just so cost efficient and so hard to deal with. You need a minesweeper. Alright, on to game number 2. On to game number 2. We are going to be finding ourselves on another ladder map in the form of Blue Winter 1995. I have not seen this map, and this time I can say that with absolute certainty, because the name does not ring a bell, and neither does the layout. That's a cool map. Those tech centers, as they're called, comm centers in RA, just provide some line of sight, but they're in a really good position. Hard to snipe them, easy to take them, for the defender that is, and they are going to make flanks harder, especially going through the middle. So it's going to make you play a wider style, I guess, more open style. Some concrete barriers protecting the well pumps, yeah. It's always struck me as unfortunate that these assets don't do anything. You cannot capture them, unlike the oil derricks. So there's just a pipeline, I guess. Again, lots of rifle pressure from Kato, but this time around Orb not flustered, building into the dark. He has built a tip silo, or at least keeping it ready. Oh, that is a blue blossom tree, huh? Ah! Kato, however, knows how Orb likes to play. Wait, they just phased through the chain link barrier? I swear that just happened. Maybe it is if the order has already been given and they are not looking for a new path. Huh. That looked like a bug to me. Not that impactful in the grand scheme of things, but certainly phasing through. So what I can assume here is that the way pathfinding usually works, it checks for objects in the way every so and so many frames, and I could be totally wrong on this, by the way. I'm not a programmer. I'm under the assumption, or I'm operating under the assumption that it works this way. And what I know is that concrete walls and chain link barriers, so any type of fences or walls, do not count as buildings in a regular sense because they can be built without a base provider once you have built a connecting element. And that is to make building walls easier, but it also leads to weird situations where you can just dump one single chain link fence and then move your MCV out, deploy it somewhere else, and still be able to spam barriers adjacent to it. So kind of weird how that works. 2 bikes, a little bit of pressure applied. I mean, on this map, that's gonna be insane. If you get an early harvester kill, that's gonna put you so far ahead. Yeah, not happening though. Kato being too on point about defending his fields. Because if you lose a blue harvester, that is staggering. Tiberian is auto with 1 pip, so it's done something, I guess. Again, Kato has claimed both the Orbliteration. Let's see, maybe this time he's gonna be in a better spot. He's already rushing out his tech. Orb, on the other hand, is going for a second airstrip. This time it is mechanized build for him. Mechanized Campania. If you've played Company of Heroes 2. Good old Soviet tier 3. Yeah, this looks to be a light vehicle build. Wrong, the looks of it. That's just double not buggies. Massive vehicle spam all the way. There is tech out for Kato, so he needs to... as not, I feel tier 2 is a lot more interesting in terms of getting some surprise ambushes in. Flame tanks can catch the opponent off guard so easily. Whereas the GI tier 2, yeah, the MRLS are good at poking, good at defense, but certainly not the game enders that not artilleries and not flame tanks can be. Oh, I made a mistake when I told you in the earlier cast. Okay. TIL. So oil derricks do get captured in 1 engineer. Huh. Who knew? Orb just going for a little scouting run. Oh, the flame tanks yet again. This is what I was talking about with getting caught with your pants down. Flame tanks are some really good ambush units. Their DPS against buildings is through the roof. And also, never underestimate the explosion. Oh, triple kill for the flame tank. I think that was still worth it at the end of the day. Man, gets another one with the explosion. The husks look a little bit weird because they're not the RA assets, rather they're just the regular base model of the tank made transparent. So that is something to keep in mind here. Flame tanks are also quite inexpensive. I think 600 a pop. He has now transitioned over to mediums, light tanks, so we will never find out. So those recons have definitely done a good job. They're now combining with the tanks. And this is where flame tanks go to die now. Good micro though, singling out the recons so the tanks will stay basically on their own. Rocket soldier spam needs to commence. I feel like this needs to be a double infantry production build from Kato anyway. Otherwise he's gonna get quickly overrun. And that is one of the best ways of turning cash into tangible assets. Yeah, Yeah, flame tank not going anywhere. Did he scout it? No, he did not scout the base. Bad news for him. He's sending 2 recons to the back lines. Orb, though, is traditionally very good. Minigunner has deflected this push single-handedly. Ooh, that's gonna be a blue tip. Recon down if he doesn't pay attention. But he does. Loses a harvester on the tail end. So Kato, again, under pressure. Checking the army stats. This is just a rehash of game 1. Orb is super far ahead, just by virtue of not losing too much. And Kato's infantry hasn't done all that much. Not been that impressed as of now. So his army assets are really low. 3 harvesters only. Yikes. That is not where you want to be at this stage of the game. He's trying to make something work, but I feel once more Kato has missed his window. Orb is now on such a good economy. The economics of scale working in his favor. Why build 1 war factory when you get an airstrip where you can build 2? Why take 2 bases when you can take 5? That's exactly what he's doing right now, just littering the map. Kato calling GG, not seeing a way back into the game, and I have to concur. This was a tough sell. He would have struggled to bring that one back. Yeah, that was just really Orb outplaying in the macro and being too good on the defense. So, the 2-time winner of Best of 3s in Tiberian Dawn, Red Alert Tiberian Dawn Remastered League, I guess, because there's only been 4 or 5 people playing. Kato has been bested by Orb in a clean sweep 2-0. This is going to lead to some more exciting matches in the future, hopefully. For now, that's all the replays I got from the server. I thank you for watching. We'll be back with Red Alert, presumably, next week. Until then, stay tuned. 5 Aces, out.